Well, hello everybody, welcome to Red Toolhouse. On our YouTube channel we talk about all things homesteading and try to implement some of those things here on our rural 100 acres in southern West Virginia. Well, in today's video I want to have another tractor discussion, but I want to answer a viewer question and a couple questions I get here locally, I guess, if that makes sense. But the question was posed by Carrie Hyder, and Carrie's been watching the channel for a long time. Appreciate you watching, Carrie. Her question was, what do I think about the tractors that Northern Tools sell that you can see online or you can see in the Northern Tools catalog? Those are Nortrac tractors. So that was her question. Well, another question I get a lot is, what do you think about the Rural King tractors? Have you checked those out? We have a Rural King new in our area, so it's about a 20-minute drive from here. So, what are my thoughts on those? So this video I want to do two parts. We're going to do today's video and the next video, which, if I time this right, should be Wednesday's video. So today's video is Monday. Wednesday's video will be the second part. So the first thing I want to do, I actually want to take on the Rural King tractor discussion first. So we'll do that first, and then we'll talk about the Nortrac tractors. Okay, so this obviously is not a Rural King tractor. For those of you new to the channel, this is my Coyote. This is my DK35. It's a 2002 model. Been a great tractor, love it. But with anything with tractors, you always have your eyes looking at other tractors, right? Wandering eyes, I guess, when it comes to tractor time. So, as I mentioned earlier, we have a Rural King new to our area, so it's been within the past year. So it's kind of exciting to have a store like this dedicated to farming and those type of things. So here recently, they've started having tractors out in front of them, and I didn't realize that Rural King had a tractor brand. So as some of my friends and I, we talk, the question obviously comes up, as all conversations naturally gravitate towards tractors, no matter where you are. So the question was, what do you think about those Rural King tractors? I'm like, I know nothing about them. They look sexy on the parking lot, but a lot of things look sexy on the parking lot. So I decided to stop and take a look at them. The next time I was at Rural King, I said, stop, check them out, and see what they're all about. So I stopped and went through them a little bit, and I thought, okay, we're going to have to look into this more. So in trying to do a comparison, or just to figure out what they're all about, I obviously go to what style and size of tractor I know. This is a DK35, so this is a 35 horse. Rural King has their RK37, which is a 37 horse, so it's within that ballpark there. Their RK37 comes in four styles or formats or setups, whatever you want to call it. They have the open cab, which is this, what I'm sitting on here, or they have the cab model, which has air conditioning and heat and all that fun stuff. And then they have regular shuttle shift, or they have hydrostatic. Now, we could argue for days. We may do a video just about what's the difference between shuttle shift and hydrostatic and which is better, and we'll tick a lot of people off because we'll go one way and somebody will go the other. You know how it works. But looking at those four configurations, I wanted to match a configuration. Again, that was as closely similar to mine as possible, so we could kind of do some apples to apples comparison. Well, the RK37 with an open cab and shuttle shift is the closest thing that mimics my DK35. The RK37 comes with standard equipment and standard features you'd expect. Now, I did look at one, obviously mimic one with a front loader. So you have the front loader, 37 horse engine we talked about. We have four-wheel drive, has a class 1 3-point hitch on the back. And one thing I thought was interesting with the RK37, if you've got the front loader, then they would go ahead and give you rim guard loaded tires. And as we've talked in a previous video, I'll link it up here, about tires, the rim guard is beet juice, and that's a weighted liquid to put in your tires there. So again, standard features, nothing really out of the ordinary, nothing really missing when you look at a standard compact 35 horse tractor or somewhere around those ranges. So nothing out of line there. So when looking at that RK37 comparably equipped, its brand new MSRP price, according to the website, was $19,998. So $20,000 we're talking. So when I bought this tractor brand new in 2002, it was about $17,000. Now granted, that's 15 years ago, so a lot has changed then. When I try to look at a comparable Coyote, they don't make a 35 horse DK model anymore. It starts at 45, but the CK 3510 is about 24 grand, depending on what you look at. So 17 to 24. So let's say, just for the sake of easy argument, to buy this tractor configuration new in Coyote would be about 24 grand. RK, Rural King brand, you're looking about 20 grand. Right away, obviously cheaper, you're going to save about 4 grand there. So, you know, obviously kind of like that. That's nice. Everybody likes to save some money. Well, the big question is, who actually is Rural King Tractor? Rural King obviously doesn't manufacture their own tractor, so what is the bone structure? Who is RK Tractors? Well, if you do a little research, you can look on Rural King's website, so their tractor website, which is rktractors.com, and you'll quickly see they don't make any bones, they don't hide it, they have it on their literature and everything. Their manufacturer is TYM Tractors. And if you go to TYM's website, you can see everything about them. But TYM is a very large tractor manufacturer in Seoul, Korea. So Rural King tractors are Korean made. According to TYM's website, their tractors are brought in from Seoul and brought into Wilson, North Carolina for assembly. So final assembly takes place in Wilson, North Carolina. Now, as far as the RK tractors, Rural King's website says the tractors are brought in from Seoul, Korea and assembled either in Waverly, Ohio or Williston, Florida. So one of 3 places there. So what about the engine? What's the engine of the RK tractor? That's obviously the big question. What is the powertrain? Well, the powertrain is a Yanmar diesel engine with EPA Tier 4 compliance. No. Tier 4 EPA, obviously that's where everything's going now. Emissions controls, all those type of things. So, yeah, I say yuck to that, but you're not going to avoid that much anymore with new tractors. So obviously the biggest question that comes up when you're thinking about these type of tractors, like a Rural King tractor that you would buy at a box store, what about parts and service, and what about warranty? Interestingly enough, about parts, Rural King actually boasts that they do all their own service and provide all their own parts at their box stores. So if you bought a tractor there, you could also get it serviced and you could get parts for it. They supposedly have a full tractor service team now. So if they're selling the tractor, then that means they've invested in bringing the guys in to do the service on it. As far as parts go, their website states that their distribution centers inventory a large quantity of parts. So that leads you to believe that maybe a 1-day or 2-day ship to their actual stores. So they're probably going to have just the basic parts there, oil filters, oil, that type of stuff, but any actual parts you would need, you'd probably have to put an order in for those. So I was thinking about that. I was like, okay, Rural King service guys, maybe. So I thought, well, it's a TYM tractor. What about looking at my local TYM authorized dealer and service guy? Well, I don't have a local TYM. The closest one is in eastern Kentucky, which is about a 2-hour drive, which ironically enough is about the same distance to find my closest dealer for Coyote, where I bought mine. Where I bought this tractor 15 years ago was about 2 hours away. So again, not a huge issue there. But when I talked to the guys in eastern Kentucky, the TYM guys, I said, do you all service Rural King tractors? And he says, well, we can. I said, but do you? And he said, well, we're not allowed to do warranty work, but we can work on them. And I asked him, are TYM parts completely interchangeable with RK? Is it just the hood ornaments the only difference on the tractors? And he said, you know, I don't know. So yeah, again, that leads you to believe that, okay, there's not a real partnership there. There's not a symbiotic relationship between TYM dealers and RK. So that's to be expected, I guess, to some degree. Not everybody plays nicely together, but it really is the same platform of tractor. Now there could be some subtle differences there. So if you buy a tractor from Rural King and it's hours and hours away, but you've got a TYM dealer close by, then you may want to talk to those guys first to say, will you work on this tractor? Again, it sounds like they're not allowed to do warranty work unless there's some special accord set up there. So speaking of warranty work, what about the warranty on an RK tractor? Now I do like this, and this is actually good marketing. It's really what it boils down to, basically. It really doesn't talk about necessarily the craftsmanship of the tractor. It's just what kind of money you're going to throw at it. Rural King offers a 2-year, 8-year warranty. So 2-year warranty on the whole tractor, bumper to bumper, if tractors had bumpers. But then an 8-year warranty on the powertrain. Now, on the 2-year warranty, it's 2 years or 2,000 hours. On the 8-year warranty, it's 8 years or 3,000 hours. So not quite the same math there, but 3,000 hours is still a decent amount of time to have on a tractor. I actually still only have 586 hours on this tractor, so I assume that's still working. You know, I haven't noticed in a while. So with a warranty, again, a warranty is what it is. Some people, you hear horror stories about people fighting warranties, some people not having any issues with them. That remains to be seen. I mean, you can search tractor forums, you can look at some things about the RK warranties. Half of people say they're great, half of people say they're not. Everybody's always going to have an opinion on something there. So what's the takeaway? What's my opinion on an RK tractor? Well, in looking at them, seeing one in person, be able to crawl up on it, touch it, feel it, all that type of stuff, it's a good looking tractor. I mean, it looks like it's built solidly. Now, there are some things that I see on it that I feel like, I don't know how that's going to hold up. You know, little pieces that are maybe a little too plastic, a little too cheap, a little too flimsy. It all depends on what you're going to do with the tractor, of course, and how you're going to handle it and how you're going to take care of it. But all in all, the tractor seems to be a solid build. If you look at the history of TYM, it's actually got a decent history. They are a decent, reputable manufacturer, from Korean standards. Now, I'm sitting obviously on a Daedong tractor, so for me to say Korea's junk or anything like that would be hypocritical. So again, you just don't necessarily know what's gone into the build of that. And when TYM says, hey, we're going to rebrand this tractor for Rural King, are there special accords? Are there things that they've made? Have they taken things away? Have they cut corners somewhere? Who knows? Well, I talked to the service guys at my local Rural King to just get an idea of what these guys are about. And the guy I was talking to was a diesel mechanic. He was very young. And I'm not going to say just because you're young, you're not a good mechanic, but obviously experiences would limit there. But this guy and a couple other guys seem very knowledgeable. Now there's a couple guys there that I wouldn't let do service on my bicycle. So again, you're not quite sure what you've got there when it comes to service on your tractor. That's going to end up being unique per location. Maybe you've got a really good team. What I'd like to see, and again, this sounds biased, I like to see a guy maybe my age or older that says, oh yeah, I've worked on tractors for years. I could take care of your service for you. That to me would give me a little more comfort there. But if that guy leaves, what do you got? And in full disclosure, I have never, in the 15 years I've owned this tractor, I've never taken it in for service. I do all my own service. So I really don't have a metric to compare against to say, well, this service is so much better than that, because I've never done it. I didn't need to. And in full disclosure, I've never driven an RK tractor. It's not like I've had one out in the field to test it out to see how it goes. So I really don't feel comfortable say thumbs up or thumbs down to RK. That's not fair. Obviously I have an opinion. Everybody on the internet has opinion, right? But with that being said, there are some considerations or questions that I would suggest before making a purchase on an RK tractor. The first suggestion I would make is talk to somebody who owns one. If you know of anybody, obviously the internet is a great tool. You can go on some of these forums, start talking to these people that have tractors. Ask them, what do you like about it? What do you not like about it? What's ticked you off? What have you loved? What issues have you had? Have you had any issues? How many have you done? What do you use it for? Have you run it over a hill yet? All those type of things. Ask them whatever question you want and see what they think about it. If that person happens to be local, ask them, hey, can I come over and sit on it, drive it around, maybe tear up some stuff with it? See how far they'll let you go before they run you off their property. I think what's really critical too is talk to your local Rural King. Find out, talk to the service department, talk to those guys and say if this is a brand new Rural King and everybody behind the service counter looks like they're wet behind the ears, yeah, maybe. Yeah, maybe that's a big deal, maybe not. But go ahead and talk to them and just get their opinion, see what they've run into as far as service goes since they've been in location there. The big question, can you do basic mechanic work? Now this is for anything, whether we're talking tractors or side-by-sides or tillers or anything. Can you turn a wrench? Do you know how to do basic mechanic work? That, if you do, then you're really going to eliminate a lot of these service discussions. If you can change your oil on your tractor, if you can diagnose some basic issues, then service is really not going to be that big of a deal. Parts still, but again, with the internet, almost anybody can get parts off the internet for anything. So if you're comfortable with doing your own mechanic work to a certain degree, then maybe that's not that big of a deal. If you're not a wrench turner and service is something you're going to have to take advantage of, then think about transport. Are you going to have a way to transport your tractor to the service department? It's not like, unless you live right beside Rural King, you're not going to hop on this thing and drive it in for an oil change or whatever warranty service needs to be done. You're going to have to transport that. So Rural King does deliver to your home when you purchase the tractor. So you're going to be able to have it delivered here to your house, but you're going to have to coordinate some way to get it trailered to Rural King for service. So take that in consideration. If the Rural King's a couple hours away that you bought it from, then you're obviously going to have to transport your tractor quite a ways to get it serviced. Another question, is downtime a big deal for you? Again, with a new brand manufacturer tractor, maybe it has downtime, maybe it doesn't. Maybe it's the tank, maybe it's rock solid, maybe it has issues. But if you have to transport it to Rural King for service, Are you in a situation where, hey, I use my tractor every single day, I got to have it every day, I don't know that I can have this downtime? Well, then that's another issue as well. If you're in that situation, then you need to learn how to turn a wrench, because you're going to run into that with almost any tractor. And another big question is, how long do you plan to own this tractor? Is this a gateway tractor for you? Is this going to lead to much larger and other tractors that are going to make you broke over time? Or is this the tractor you think you need on your homestead or small farm indefinitely? Think about that. Say, well, okay, what's the longevity of these Rural King tractors? Nobody really knows. Rural King's not new and not old enough. Kind of the same situation I was in with Coyote. Coyote had been around for a while. It wasn't like they were brand new in 2002, but around our area, nobody really had a lot of experience with them. So I kind of took that risk. Well, I want to have this tractor for a long time, and so far, 15 years later, knock on wood, it's still been a solid tractor. The one thing that does give me a little bit of pause when talking about Rural King tractors is their service and sales department is directly linked to their retail. And retail is retail. Retail changes all the time. Rural King is family owned, but it's still a box store, and they are franchised. So it's one of those deals where you can say, well, if something changes in the retail industry, they may go away, or they may change their business model. May decide, hey, we're getting out of the tractor business. So again, if that happens and you've got an RK tractor that's 10 years old, you're still going to need parts, you're still going to need all those type of things. So that's where I'd make sure that this TYM connection would still be solid at that point, because you may not have a Rural King in your area. And another thing, as I'd mentioned already, Rural King brand tractor is a newer brand tractor. Just like Coyote at one time was a new tractor, just like most tractors at one time are new tractors. So when you look at it and you say, well, because it's a new brand, they're going to do a lot of things to try to get that brand level up. That's why I'm kind of afraid to look at or buy a new Coyote, because the way this one was built, it's very solid. But I hear stories and reports that Coyote doesn't put as much detail or much quality product into manufacturing these anymore. Now that may be true, that may not. But in that situation, these new manufacturers will sometimes build them over spec. So wow, if this is a really good, well-built tractor, people really start liking them. 2 years, 3 years manufacturing, everybody gets behind it, and then they can start to cut corners. They can start to cut back in some of these areas. So that may be an issue there. They also lower the price. Again, low entry price gets people looking. Hey, well-built tractor, cheaper than the competition, we're going to give it a try. And then of course the warranty, better warranty than everybody else. You know, how can you lose? That's the marketing gimmick there. That's the game they're playing in marketing. Take a product that's built pretty well with a plan of maybe it going downhill. I'm not saying that's what Rural King's doing, but that's a very common model. Set the price low to get people to bite, throw a big warranty out there, and just plan on eating it for a while if you do have warranty issues. And then hopefully you get a lot of sales going and you ride that momentum to become a profitable manufacturer at some point. So again, not necessarily saying thumbs up, thumbs down. I do like the looks of the tractor, but unless I had it here for a couple days driving it around, or I really sit down and talk to somebody that had one, I wouldn't feel comfortable saying yes or no. But definitely do your homework. If you're going to look at buying one of those tractors, do all the research, do more than I did, of course. Check out their website, rktractors.com, but don't just camp out there. Again, that's marketing. They're going to tell you what they want you to hear. Look on some of these third-party tractor forums, talk to people, get some discussion going, and see what luck they've had with their RK tractors. One other note, if you want to learn more about RK tractors, Rural King, and I do appreciate their approach on this, this was kind of cool. They just recently announced, actually just last week, I got an email from Rural King. I'm on their email list. So I got an email from Rural King that said, check out our partnership with a YouTube channel called Outdoors with the Morgans. And it's a YouTube channel about homesteading and outdoor type stuff. Well, they've got a lot of RK tractors. I haven't watched their videos yet, but just kind of flipping through their channel in this research, it looks like they have at least 2 different RK tractors. Now, did Rural King give those to them? Did they buy them? I don't know. I'm not going to make any assumptions there. But when a retail establishment announces a partnership, there's obviously some money or some goods changing hands there. But they supposedly are going to take the RK tractors through the ringer and show you how they use them on their farm or homestead. So that's something you can check out. Again, there could be some marketing bias there. But again, do your homework. Well, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you have any suggestions or comments about RK tractors, be sure to leave them below. Everybody seems to share those well and get some good discussion going there. Subscribe if you haven't, and check us out on our website, redtoolhouse.com. Take care, everybody.